Good morning. This is Rio Ray Froscher. It is October 4th, 2020. And I want to thank the people who watched my last video. My kudos to Tim Pool, Gary Lamb, and Donald Trump. One, for the suggestion that I needed to speak up. I apologize. The software I'm using on my MacBook, you can hear the fan of my MacBook. That's what the whirring noise is. And so I went in, I increased the volume. Hope that helps. And also, I got a suggestion that I should make more videos. So here you go. So this thought occurred to me, and it kept me up all night last night, that I think there's a possibility that the media is going to kill, I don't mean that literally, although I'm sure they've tried, not the media, but other people. They're going to try to assassinate our president somehow in the media forum. And I say that because they did this with Kim Jong-un about a month ago, 4 to 6 weeks ago. His sister had taken the center stage of all of media attention, and there was a rumor going around that Kim Jong-un was dead. And then somehow, like within a week of that, he mysteriously reappeared again. So that's one. Unfortunately, and this is very disturbing and saddening, that so many people on the so-called left, on the Democratic side, are actually calling for him to be dead. Like, isn't that illegal? I mean, can't you be arrested for posing a threat against the President of the United States and wanting him dead? I hope Twitter, and a lot of this happened on Twitter, I hope Twitter takes charge of this and does something about this. So per our inside anonymous, well, our anonymous insider that we all know so well, if we've been following the last 3 years since the end of October of 2017, that there's not only going to be an October surprise, who knows what that is, but also that there's going to be 10 days of darkness. Now, I think this was mentioned, gosh, like a year ago, and I was expecting the internet to go down for 10 days, which it didn't. But if you'll remember, I heard Donald Trump say this himself, that and I think he said it after he lowered drug prices. And he said there were a lot of people that didn't like him, and that he might have to disappear for a while. He only said this once, I believe. I mean, at least I only heard him say it once. And I think we all assumed that that meant immediately following what he said. Oh boy, the camera's having a hard time keeping up. So I'm thinking that he was really thinking ahead of time, like a year ahead of time, a year delta, if you will, that we're in that time now. Because him contracting the so-called virus is a perfect cover for him to disappear, right? He has to self-quarantine, so there's going to be no question that he's going to disappear. It'll be a normal thing, right? And that provides the perfect cover for him to go behind the scenes, and along with whoever else might have contracted this so-called disease for COVID-19, that it will give them enough time to do whatever it is they need to do undercover, behind the scenes, whatever you want to call it. So this is, yeah, I'm thinking that this tactic of saying that the Donald, our president, is dead would be a very desperate last-ditch attempt by the mainstream media and Democratic left, extreme left, to try to take back control of the narrative. And it just makes sense. You know, they're so desperate right now. They're pulling out all the stops. And, you know, if you've been following, you know that Donald Trump is utilizing the art of war, which I have used myself. It works. To use deception against your enemy instead of having a war of weapons and destruction. It works much better to deceive your enemy without having to do without having any of the violence. So he is appearing weak, right? Getting the virus because he's really strong and he's about to take out the queen in chess terms. Maybe the king. Who knows? Maybe it's going to be a checkmate move. Because what would completely destroy the credibility of the media but to claim that the president is dead only to have him reappear, right? Doesn't that make sense? So that's my theory. And I'm laughing, not because I think it would be a good thing for the president to be dead. I'm in full support of the president. I may not like everything that comes out of his mouth, but I love what he's doing. And I just find it interesting and rather hilarious that there are so many sheep. There are so many asleep sheep still out there, especially where I live. Oh my God. I'm in Colorado. I'm in a Republican state in a Democratic city of Boulder. And it's just disgusting to me. I walk around here in the neighborhood that I happen to be in right now. And even in my own neighborhood, I see Biden-Harris signs everywhere. In fact, there's a car parked right outside of this house on the road that has stickers, bumper stickers, all over it. I mean, not all over it so you can't drive the car, but all over that disparage our president, that call for Biden-Harris. And there's one that I thought was really funny. To take off on supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And I can't remember what the bumper sticker, it's something super fragile, something or other. But anyway, it's funny because it's so untrue. This whole thing that's going on, this hatred against our president, is disgusting. It really shows how low people can stoop and reveal their own hatred of themselves, because that's really what it's a reflection of, is people's hatred against themselves that they're completely unaware of. This is what projection is. And this is part of Psychology 101. So if you're saying, I hate you to someone, especially when you don't even know them, none of these people have in the neighborhoods, okay, I'm talking about regular people, none of these people that hate on Trump have actually met the man. And I can't say I have either, but I've done my research about him, and I've written about him on my blog, which if you haven't found it already is called Ascension Through Duality. It's on Blogspot. There's actually a pretty good Netflix movie about him that I found. I thought it was rather unbiased, but I liked it. I thought it gave a short glimpse into the man. Anyway, I'm digressing. I want to keep this short, so Yeah, I'm thinking this is what's going to happen. Oh, and the last point that I wrote down was that there's been a constant effort, like over the last 3 years that I've seen from my search, to take the president off the ballot entirely. Oh my goodness. In fact, I think I've heard, and I've actually seen a picture of a ballot that someone put out there, that you, to get a Republican ballot, you actually have to write in your Republican choices yourself. Like they're not even sending out Republican ballots. Okay, so yeah, it would be interesting to hear what your thoughts and comments are on this. I'm kind of hoping it does happen, not because I want him dead. No, I want him to keep going. I want another 4 years, and I want Junior to be his running mate if it's not going to be Pence. We already know Pence is going to step down, right? He got a letter at George Bush's funeral. He got a note, just like everybody else did. And I think he has just been forced to play along. And so it's going to be somebody else. And I guess it's a toss-up at this point as to who it's going to be. We all want it to be Junior, right? But maybe there's another choice. Anyway, one last thing. I am going to be making a follow-up video to my tribute to the last one that I just made, the tribute video to Tim Pool, Gary Lamb, and Donald Trump, to explain why I'm not worried about what's happening. And this goes to the heart of it's a spiritual look at what's happening, because I've studied that way longer than any of this other stuff, all this 3D stuff going on. So I will be making that soon. I hope you stay tuned in. So, blessings to you all. I wish you a beautiful, productive day. Be happy, and aloha.